Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to all you LT gamers. Today I bring you a quick review of Strategic Mind Spirit of Liberty. Now this is a war game and I love to see them on the channel. They've always been very successful for us and I really have developed my interest in war games along with the growth of our channel. So when this came across my desk, I was really excited, and I have to say, it does a lot of things really well, and it does some other things pretty poorly. Essentially, the game is a hardcore turn-based, historically accurate strategy game set in World War II. You have to lead the Finnish forces against the Soviet Union as they invade your country with overwhelming force. I believe the initial conflict took place around 3 months into World War II after Finland refused to give up its territory. It's a very interesting setup for a war game, and you get to select from the historically accurate campaign, or you can play an alternative history version. You will be able to play through a number of missions throughout the 1939-45 timeline, and it spans 3 wars: the Winter War, the Continuation War, and the Lapland War. If you're interested in a similar war game based around the Winter War, you should check out SGS's Winter War. It's an excellent representation of the conflict. Before this title, I'd never actually played a Strategic Minds title, and overall it did take me a little bit of time to adapt from other war games. I think this is a good thing, as it's not always nice to see the same mechanics played out over and over again, and I did find this a unique game with very unique mechanics. It did surprise me with a number of cinematics before and after each operation, but to be honest, they're quite poorly voiced in places. They're okay, they do add some historical context which I enjoyed, but you're not really getting AAA quality here if I'm honest. I did feel like the cinematics could have been left out or replaced with something else, and I wouldn't have really minded, so they do feel a little superfluous in this game. The voice acting within the campaign also is a mixed bag. Sometimes it's good, other times it feels a bit weird, and there's a strange mix of accents in there which kind of throws you out of the immersion. However, despite these complaints, overall the gameplay is strong with this one, and it does have a good tutorial that will take you through all of the mechanics within the game. It's a little simplified, but overall does a good job. If you have made it this far into the video, both me and Tom would really appreciate it if you drop a like, maybe add a comment, or subscribe if you're new here. Every little bit of interaction really helps to drive the channel. I was really intrigued when playing through the tutorial about the upgrade system for the units, and it was no surprise that this did become the highlight of the campaign. As your units gain combat experience, you're able to upgrade them with new abilities and equipment. If you want to tailor your infantry unit to be a tank killing specialist, you're able to do so. Also, at historically accurate points in time, you're able to upgrade your units to newer models. This all adds to a really immersive experience, and for me is the highlight of this game. The diversity of the equipment and upgrades within the game is actually really good. There's everything from machine guns to mortars to sniper rifles to flamethrowers that you can equip to your tanks. It really is impressive. There is also hero units within the game, and once you meet a set of historical criteria, you're able to assign a unique personality with powerful skills. You're also able to upgrade your units between missions and add to your HQ skills that you can use within campaign battles. These are powerful abilities that you spend victory points on to help you win and turn the tide of the campaign. At this stage, I can't really highlight enough, if you're into unit customization and upgrades, this game shines in that department and it will be for you. The supply system in the game is reasonably sophisticated but also quite confusing, and I didn't find it very intuitive. It took me quite a while to work it out, but it does do a good job overall. The battle animations and sound design are very impactful, and to be honest, I really enjoyed attacking other units with my artillery because it just sounds and feels really cool. However, while these were impressive, I did have a few issues with the campaign map. It looks a little samey after a while and doesn't really change from mission to mission. A couple of other small criticisms that I would make are the map can look a little muddy and it's hard to make out enemy unit from friendly units. Also, they do tend to repeat the same lines over and over, and you can get a bit frustrated hearing these all the time. Perspective was also strange, with the UI swallowing up quite a bit of my screen and not enough map for me. I'm not sure if this was a resolution issue, but it just didn't look quite right, and I found myself zooming in and zooming out to try and find the right level. The music in the game is absolutely sublime, and I have no issues there whatsoever. It was a great companion as I played through the campaign and adds to the atmosphere for sure. There are a number of interesting combat mechanics as well, such as lethal versus non-lethal damage, the ability to use terrain to your advantage, line of sight, and of course the equipment and skills that you can add to your units. Spotting and recon are very important in this game. You must recon the enemy. If you charge straight in, you'll be caught up by artillery, aircraft, and everything will bring you down. For instance, when I attacked with my bombers, I had to be very careful to clear out anti-air first. I think the replayability in this title is really strong because I've played around 8 hours and I'm not that far into the campaign. There is also a number of main objectives with every mission and a number of secondary objectives, many of which I never achieved, so I could go back and try and do those. It's also very important that you try and capture Soviet tanks because at the start of the war, you don't have many yourself. Achieving secondary objectives like killing off enemy commanders gave me bonuses that I could carry through into other campaign missions. This was certainly a welcome addition and gave the game a more strategic feel after you'd finished with the tactical battles. I did find this wargame a hard one to come to a conclusion on. It does some things great and then equally does some things poorly, and I think for everything that I picked out it did well, there was something I didn't like. But overall, I really have to focus on the gameplay and the unit customization. This really rises it up to be a good title. Overall, I'd have to say it sits in that 7 out of 10 region, and I did enjoy my time with it, and I would certainly look at other games in the series. For me, it just didn't have as much impact and wasn't quite as strategic as the SGS titles which I've featured very heavily on the channel. But if you really need that tactical fix, then I would certainly make this a recommendation. So there we go, LT gamers, another wargame on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Will you be picking this one up? Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. As always, I've been Luke from LT Gaming, and I'll catch you on the next one.